What's up, YouTube? I'm Brett from Rants or Us with Lance, my other half of Rants or Us, on audio. Uh, as always, guys, if you enjoy our content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. What are you up to, Lance?
Not much, just hanging out.
Not much, just hanging out. All right, so today we're going to be talking about even Gotham's showrunner thinks the Batman spinoff show is very similar. All right, so if y'all don't know, there's of course going to be the Matt Reeves, the Batman film, and then there's going to be a spinoff called Gotham PD. And what they're talking about, the showrunner of Gotham, that aired on Fox since 2014, and just actually come to a end. What, a year ago was it, Lance?
I believe
It was
so.
about a year ago. That he thinks that it's just a little too close to what Gotham was. Now, for those that didn't know or watch what Gotham was, it was the beginning of a young Commissioner Gordon as he goes and he works his way up with a young Batman and deals with a lot of some of the beginnings of some of our favorite Batman nemesis, basically.
Yes, yeah.
So,
And
so
I personally loved the first like 3 seasons of it, and then it kind of got a little out there for me. But
that's the way it was for me too.
I worry if it's so much like that, is it? Am I gonna feel like I'm wasting my time watching the spin-off? Like
Yeah.
I've seen, But with that being said, it being directed by Matt Reeves after directing the Batman movie, I have high hopes for the Batman movie.
See, it
So I
says
would give it a shot for sure.
it says right here, and this is worth noting. It says Heller and Cannon recently sat down with comicbook.com to discuss our other Batman adjacent television series, Pennyworth. Conversation inevitably turned to the Batman's GCPD spinoff and its similarities to Gotham. It's hard not to acknowledge how the two shows line up, but both producers offered a more positive outlook. Eller said, "We were the last big network battle cruiser to leave the harbor, but we were very much a network show. I think now that we've realized that streaming is a new god, I think Matt's going to have a much easier time selling the kind of show that we wanted to
Yeah,
do."
yeah, probably
So,
so with it being on HBO
yes,
Max instead of just like on Fox or
yes,
CW or something like that. I would agree with that. I think the streaming services is where it's at now. Everybody's watching stuff on Amazon Prime or
yeah.
Netflix or Hulu or HBO Max now, Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the streaming platforms is where it's at.
Well, see,
And so,
this being on HBO Max, they're going to be able to get by with a lot of stuff that they weren't able to do on Gotham. Let's face it,
right,
that
right.
kind of made
Even
Gotham.
like language wise,
Yeah.
like
Well,
they're going to be able to make it more adult wise,
yeah.
and not.
Well, I'll tell you this: Gotham to me was a show that it was interesting at first, and got really big into it. I'd binge watch it. I'd even rewatch it, but it got really
Yeah,
campy towards the end. It got really
yeah.
like, okay, you could really tell that it was a Fox show and
Well,
not
you know
something that
what?
was an HBO show. You know,
I like Jada Pinkett Smith, but I was not a fan of the Fish Moody character.
I hated Fish Mooney.
And
I
so
hated
when
Fish
they
Mooney.
when they really started focusing on her, like when she comes back and she has like these magic powers, I was like, oh my god, no,
Well, I'll tell you where
So that's kind of what I started getting out of it. I mean,
I'll tell you when I got out of it was the when they brought her back from the dead, and then they did the Solomon Grundy character. I was like, okay, now we're getting into like really comic booky, where it
yeah,
doesn't
but
make sense in the real world. I mean,
now
with a lot of things.
I do feel like for a show that was trying to focus on the dark side of Gotham,
Hmm.
it was hard to do that on a network like Fox, where
I
on
agree.
HBO Max, I feel like they'd be more successful doing that because they could be a little darker. Like it's real. You're really supposed to be able to show the darkness of Gotham with all the villains and everything like that. And they couldn't get away with things on Fox that they'll be able to get away with on HBO Max. So I'd almost be willing to bet that it's going to be a better show than Gotham was, just because of where it's streaming. Like it's streaming on HBO Max, where Gotham was airing on Fox, and Fox is kind of a family network, so they had to kind of follow guidelines that Matt Reeves isn't going to have to worry about. And
well, see,
that could make or break a show. I mean,
see,
imagine.
Do you think that Reeves has a advantage since he's doing the Batman movie? Like, do you think he would have an advantage, producing this series?
I think he has more of an advantage, not because he's doing the Batman, but just because he's doing it on HBO Max.
Yeah, I agree. That's a big advantage.
Now
budget wise, even
he does have a little bit of he's in the spotlight for the Batman movie, so that's an advantage in itself as well, though. So,
see, I'll tell you, and this is completely off topic, but when we talk about the budgets. The budget at Fox is not going to be the budget at HBO. Look at what HBO was able to do with like a Game of Thrones. If that was on Fox, that would have sucked. Like it would have been.
Oh, absolutely.
That's like some on Sci-Fi Channel.
That's kind of what I was going to say a while ago. Imagine trying to watch The Boys off of Amazon on CW or something like that. That show would have tanked.
Yeah, I mean, now I will give The Mandalorian season 2 credit. Because they've done some really amazing things with CGI, except for the Luke Skywalker part. Except for that, I have to mention that. They've done some amazing things with CGI that I never thought even Disney Plus would be able to do. But, again, they have the backing of Disney. Where I feel like a show on HBO Max is going to, the budget to that would be through the roof. It would look so much better. It wouldn't look cheesy. I mean, Solomon Grundy looked like somebody that you just poured a bunch of powder on the Fox Gotham series. Like, that's the way he looked. Right. He looked cheesy and stupid.
They're going to have a bigger budget with HBO Max, I would have to believe.
Yeah. Now I will say, where Gotham had the advantage that probably this new one won't, is it Gotham PD? I think it's Gotham PD that is the name of this. That Gotham PD, Gotham PD. One advantage that I feel like Gotham, the Fox series has, is the actors.
I was going to say that the actors who played the villains was phenomenal. Like, most of them. Like, the guy who played Penguin, the guy who played Edward Nygma, they were great. They were great.
Yes. I mean,
I have little reservations when it comes to the Gotham movie because of that. Like, I'm not so much with Colin Farrell as Penguin, but the Riddler.
Yeah, the guy. I don't know that guy's.
I just drew a blank.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is that Corey Michael Smith. I don't know if he's the Riddler. I think it is was who that guy is. But I feel like he played a really good Riddler. I felt like the guy that played Penguin was excellent. I feel like the movie The Batman is going to make it really hard on me because I got so used to those characters on Gotham, and then seeing them on the big screen, I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I like this Riddler or this Penguin again, because we got to see something a little different. I mean, you got to admit, the Riddler and the Penguin we saw in Gotham was not the same ones we were used to.
I don't think Paul Dano can play as good of a Riddler as Corey Michael Smith did.
No, you're talking Robin Lord Taylor on Penguin. No. I'm
talking about the Riddler.
Oh, the Riddler.
Paul Dano's going to be. Yeah, Paul Dano's going to be the Riddler in the Batman movie, and I don't think he's going to do the Riddler as good as Corey Michael Smith did on Gotham.
For some reason, does he feel like somebody that really should have been picked for the Penguin part? Like he just to me looks like more of a penguin than he does a Riddler.
Although he'll make a better Riddler than Jim Carrey did, I'm just saying.
Yeah, that we will always be in agreement on. We will always be on agreement on that one. I remember watching that as a kid. I was like 10 years old when that movie came out, and I thought this is stupid. I mean, if you're a 10-year-old kid, you're thinking it's stupid. It's pretty stupid, you know. I mean, but
At
over.
first, I was really okay with it because I was a Jim Carrey fan as a kid. But
Mhm.
if I went and watched that Batman Forever now, I'd be like, this whole movie sucks.
You know, to be honest with you, and looking back on it, I'm actually kind of shocked they didn't get Adam Sandler to play that role. Like,
Oh,
I
dude,
mean, you know,
don't
back in
get me
that,
going with Adam Sandler.
yeah,
Like,
but I mean, you know, back in those days, like he was at the height of his fame. Of course, you could say the same thing about Jim Carrey. You know, Jim Carrey's really nothing anymore. He does like Biden voices on SNL now, which I think he finally even gave over to that because he sucked at it. But he's just not a funny guy anymore. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, overall, I will say this: I'm actually really excited about. I'm actually really excited about this Gotham PD. I'm excited what they can do on HBO
well,
Max.
I mean, I don't. I'm not gonna get too excited just yet. I'm willing to give it a shot.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, do you think it'll be better than? Does the
see.
similarities with Gotham, the
I have
show, bother you?
reservations of it because if it's almost exactly like Gotham, I'll be like, been there, done that, you
Yeah.
know.
So I mean, you know, so as
So
long
I'm
as
gonna
they
have
don't
to check it
tread
out
into
to be
that
able to
territory.
give a. I'm gonna have to check it out to be able to give you a definite answer on
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah, I think that's the
we
one
can. I
thing we're
can
just all
definitely
gonna
see
have to
us
wait and
doing some
see.
videos over it once it comes out, and
Yeah.
my opinions might be completely different at that point. You know.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I agree on it. I agree with you on that. I feel like it's gonna be something that you're gonna have to see
Right.
first before you can really give a definite answer. I'm excited about it coming to HBO Max, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, okay, um,
I almost want to say it can be better just because it's going to be able to be a little more edgier.
yeah. And you know what?
And I think when you're focusing on the dark side of Gotham,
Yeah,
that you need that edginess. Like,
I think sometimes, okay, here on Rants or Us, we've done videos over,
as long as they don't go too far with their edginess, I'm good.
well,
Like,
take the Snyder cut from Justice League. They said that Batman's going to be saying the F bomb in the Snyder cut. Are you cool with that? Like, or do you think that's a step too far for Batman, or do you think that's okay? Like, where do you stand on that issue?
I think it would depend on, like, are you taking your kid to see this movie?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
if this is a movie for adults, then I'm okay with it. If it's supposed to be or approved for all ages, then no, he shouldn't be dropping the F bomb because kids look up to Batman. Last thing I want my
yeah.
kid running around saying is, "Oh, Batman, F this, F that."
Yeah, see, that's kind of the view I have of it. I kind of have this view of it as a DC fan that I feel like DC needs to go more the route of Marvel, the family friendly movies that work for Marvel. Not saying that they can't go
Well,
gritty. I
I,
feel
I
like
would,
on
I would
HBO Max
almost,
you can go
I would,
gritty. I
I
would
would
be cool with
almost
them
agree with
saying the
you.
F bomb on HBO Max. Do what?
I would almost agree with you. Other than there's not, I don't feel like there's a lot of the younger generation DC fans. I think they're all older
Yeah,
because
I think
Marvel
so.
has taken such a front light that they're more of that's more of our
Yeah.
kids' generation type comic books, superhero type things. So they're family friendly, where DC's more kind of
Yeah.
with the older generations now because Marvel's been in such the front light for so long that a lot of young kids don't even know Marvel. I mean DC.
Well, when you look at you bring up a good point on that because looking back on it, my son is more familiar with Captain America and all of those than
It's
he
like
is because
okay, for instance, when we took our kids trick or treating this year, I saw a lot of like Spider Man. I saw a
yeah,
lot of like Iron
because
Man, and
Avengers is
you
everything
know,
now.
Black Panther and all that type of kids in those costumes. I didn't hardly see any Batman or any like
Yeah.
Superman or you know. So
So
that's where I kind of come with it.
see,
With that is
see that
DC's
answer
kind of
kind of
more.
that answer kind of depresses me a little bit. To be honest with
It
you,
does. It does me too because
as a Batman fan.
growing up I was DC. Screw Marvel, and
Yeah,
so that does kind of sadden me too in a way. So
but that's one thing I do actually agree with you on that. But as far as dropping the F bomb, I'm not cool with it in the Justice League because it is a movie that kids might go see. But on HBO Max, I am fine with it.
yeah,
Because I feel like,
I'm like,
look,
as
you're
long as they don't go,
you're not gonna
go
be
so,
letting your
you
kids
know,
watch HBO Max. Let's just put it that way.
as long as they don't go so far on HBO Max where they're like having all these sex scenes and stuff like
Yeah,
that, I'm chill.
but they're gonna do
Like I
that.
know,
That's what they're
yeah,
gonna
I know
do.
they are because anytime they're on a network like that, that they can get away with stuff
Hmm.
like that, they do that. But
Yeah, I'm always.
my deal is like I just hope that they get the right people to play the right parts,
I
and
do
they
too.
don't try to do. If they bring in a Joker, they're not bringing in the crackhead Joker.
Yeah. Well, Matt Reeves is going to bring, but see, that's the thing about Reeves doing this is he going to bring in the same people that he had for the movie? Like, is he going to want the same kind of vision
See,
because that's his
I
vision?
don't. That's a good question too because I feel like certain actors, like let's say Colin Farrell as Penguin, you know how much money he might would want to charge to do an episodic role.
Yeah, yeah,
What kind of budget are we really going to be working with here? I know it's
yeah,
HBO Max and they're going to have a big budget, but how big? Like
yeah. I know. I agree
big
with
enough
you.
to bring these star-studded cast in? I don't know. Like
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
good question.
That's a good
Now,
point.
although they have said that they want Robert Pattinson as the future Batman.
Hmm. Yeah. So I mean, it wouldn't shock me if maybe they might try to get him for this. I don't know. I don't know what the plan is. I know it's in early development. They're probably going to wait and see what the Batman does if the Batman ever comes out.
Probably.
But we'll just have to see. But overall, I think that's about it that I've got. What about you, Lance? Got anything else to add?
That about covers it for me. I'm not overly excited about it, but I'm willing to give it a shot and
Yeah, as long as
see
it's
what it does.
yeah, as long as it's not the exact same like a clone of Gotham, I'm cool with it. I'm always cool with more Batman. That's the way I
Yeah,
look at it.
I'm not big on any of these like let's say I don't know how to word it, but let's call it for lack of better words, copycat series. Like,
Yes, I agree with you on that one. But overall, guys, thank y'all for watching and leave a comment down below. Let us know what y'all think of this. Take care, guys.